Welcome back. Today we're making chicken marsala. Let's turn up the heat. First things first, we need to do a little mincing, chopping, and slicing. Starting with 2 chicken breasts, all you need to do here is slice these in half, trying your best to make sure they're an even thickness. All we're going to achieve here is a quicker cook time and a thinner, more tender piece of chicken. Once your breasts are sliced in half, simply just toss these to the side. And now we're going to slice some garlic. Bringing in 4 cloves. All you need to do here is slice them or mince them. I like to slice them so I have nice thin pieces and that mince or that garlic paste doesn't get lost in the sauce. Once your garlic's sliced thin, just like so, ball it all up and move it to the side of the cutting board. And now bring in 1 shallot. It's alright if this shallot gets lost in the sauce, so go ahead, finely mince this, nice small pieces just like this, and just like the garlic, ball this up and move it next to the garlic. Next on the chopping block is parsley. Go ahead, rip off a nice healthy chunk. All you're going to do with this is simply chop this up into nice fine pieces, because it's just going to get sprinkled over the end result. Once that parsley is oh so beautiful and finely chopped, there's one last thing we need to chop up, and it's arguably the most important, because you wouldn't have chicken marsala without the mushrooms. Now the typical mushroom used in chicken marsala, I'll throw a picture right there, boom! It's just the basic white button mushroom. There's other mushrooms that are out there that are much better. In my opinion, the crimini, otherwise known as a baby bella. All you're gonna do with these is slice them up. Not too thin because they're gonna release quite a bit of water, shrink up, so you want them to be kind of like hearty, you know? A nice thickness, just like this. For these bad boys, you can eat the stem. If the stem's a little dehydrated on the end, simply just shave off a little bit of that end and then continue slicing. Now I said I have a 1.5 cups and I've only got a cup of these. So if you do the math, I need a 1/2 cup more. And that 1/2 cup is gonna be a shiitake mushroom. Now for these, you can't eat the stem. So make sure you destem them and then slice them the exact same thickness as the criminis. Now once those mushrooms are all sliced up, you got the mushrooms, the parsley, the garlic, the shallot, all so beautiful and ready to be cooked. But before we get to that, we need to season and flour this chicken. So move that prep to the side and bring in those 4 cutlets with an extra plate. Add about a cup of flour, or just enough to dust these chicken breasts. Before the chicken goes into that flour, I like to season the chicken rather than seasoning the flour. Seasoning the chicken directly just allows me to kind of judge exactly how much salt and how much pepper I'm putting on these. If I add it to the flour, I'm really not gonna know. I could put in a tablespoon of salt into that flour and the chicken may not even pick any salt up. So right here, at least I know each piece of chicken is salted and peppered properly. Once seasoned, now you can run those chicken breasts through that flour. Once they're fully coated, dust them off just to get any excess off. Those beautiful bad boys are ready to be pan fried. Bring in your pan and add just enough oil to coat the bottom of that pan. And now one by one, take each chicken breast and drop it into the oil away from you just to make sure nothing's splattering and hitting your wrist or your arms or your face. Don't give yourself unnecessary burns. Now this chicken's pretty thin, and like I said before, they're cut in half to shorten that cooking time. So just a couple minutes on one side, and once they start to get a little bit of color, just like so, now you can give them a flip. Flipping each one, if one has a little bit more color than the other, keep it down until they're all nice and golden brown. And now after a couple more minutes on that other side, cook them to about 90% of the way cooked through. Don't finish them because they'll be finished in the sauce just a little bit later on. Once they're almost done, pull them and rest them on a plate. Now working in this same pan, if there are any kind of like burnt flour pieces or any kind of like large chunks, remove them from the pan now so you don't have them in the sauce later. But if your pan's ready to go ahead, toss in 2 tablespoons of butter and 2 tablespoons of fresh oil. Once that butter begins to get a little bit bubbly and gorgeous and shimmery, shiny, sorry, getting carried away with the descriptions. Go ahead, toss in your shallots, give them a little bit of a toss, and then go right in with your mushrooms. Sprinkle in a touch of salt and a little bit of pepper. Cook these mushrooms until they start to get nice and deep, dark, golden brown. And then at this point, you can add in your garlic. I'm adding this in closer to the end of this mushroom cook time because I don't want that garlic to burn and get bitter. I just want the garlic to open up, get nice and aromatic, about a 30 seconds to a minute. You'll know when it's ready. Just drop in 2 tablespoons of flour and give this a nice little mixy mix. Cook that flour for a couple minutes, making sure not to burn. All you're doing here is cooking out that kind of starchy aroma and that starchy taste you may get with uncooked flour. And the function of this flour is just to thicken the sauce once we start adding liquids. And the first liquid going in is 3/4 cups of Marsala. If you don't know what Marsala is or you've never had it, it's a fortified wine. If you don't know what that is, it's a wine that has an added spirit. No, not that kind of spirit, the liquor kind. And the spirit that's added to Marsala is brandy. Once that wine cooks for a couple minutes, that alcohol's kind of getting cooked off, now you can toss in 3/4 cups of chicken stock. Now once those two are in, you just need to let this simmer. And now you can toss in 4 sprigs of thyme. Just simply hold the sprig just like this and run your fingers straight down the sprig. Each one of those leaves should get completely knocked right off and drop right into the pan. Let it cook down, kind of get to a saucy consistency. That flour will aid in the thickening of these two liquids. And after a couple minutes of some reduction, I want to make sure everything's balanced and nothing's flat. So get a spoon, give it a taste. If it's flat, simply add some salt. And after some reduction has taken place, we can splash in some heavy cream. So I'm just going to be going in with about 1/4 cup. With this pan still on low, swirl that cream into the sauce, and now we can add our chicken back into that pan. Along with that chicken, there's probably going to be some juices on that resting plate. So make sure you drop in everything, the chicken and the juices, because there's definitely some flavor that I don't want to miss out on. Let the chicken finish cooking just a couple minutes in this sauce. Let it come up to temperature just like so, and now you can turn that heat off and add 1 tablespoon of butter directly to the pan. Swirl that butter into that sauce, and just like that, now the last step is toss on a little bit of that parsley. Make it nice and beautiful just like so, and boom, right there is a beautiful, super easy, super simple chicken marsala, made in 1 pan, by the way. Make this any weeknight. It's absolutely delicious. But I'm gonna put that to the test right now. That's a good bite. The chicken, it's juicy, it's tender. The sauce, the mushrooms, it all comes together. It's very easy to make. Any weeknight, throw this together, you'd impress anybody. Put this over pasta, put this over rice, polenta, mashed potatoes. Literally any starch you wanted would go great with this. If you like this video, give it a big fat thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, and until next time, peace.